Alright, the downfall of mainline Pokemon games.
Let's wind back the clock to 1989.
Happy New Year!
1989?
ファミリーコンピュータの楽しいカセット情報
After the great success of the Famicom, also known as the NES, Nintendo had decided to launch a portable console, the Game Boy, that was released in April of that same year. With the release of the Game Boy, a young man by the name of Satoshi Tajiri was suddenly struck with an idea. At the time, Tajiri spent his days producing and self-releasing a magazine by the name of Game Freak with the help of his good friend Ken Sugimori. With this magazine, Tajiri and Sugimori were able to express their love and admiration for video games, reporting on various arcade and home console releases. But it was with the release of the
Yes, fucking ages ago. Pokemon definitely makes me feel old. I was born 4 days after Pokemon was released. God Silver has 2 regions to explore, a grind and actual challenge. Yeah, you had to grind your levels to progress your Pokemon and make them strong and actually have comps for the gyms that you're going up against. But also, your super effective moves were not hitting as hard. And you didn't have experience share. And you had to have certain abilities within your Pokemon teams to try and get through puzzles and stuff like that, like Rock Smashes, Cut, etc.
The Game Boy, and the huge potential that Tajiri saw in it, that they decided to turn Game
You used to
Freak
collect the
into a
cards,
video game
Weedy?
development company.
Really?
A mere 5 days after the launch of the console. As a kid, Tajiri loved playing in nature and used to run around the countryside collecting various bugs and insects
If only
to
it
show
was
to his
born 4
friends
days
and
earlier.
family. This passion
Not
laid the
fucking good
groundwork
enough.
for an idea that was
Wonder if I
later
could legally
sparked
get it
by the release
changed
of the
like
Game
4
Boy,
days.
or more specifically, by its linking functionality. In a dream, Tajiri imagined little creatures like the ones he used to catch as a child, crawling along the cable, being transferred from one Game Boy to another. He thought that with this idea, he could create a game that would recapture his childhood passion, and share it with a younger generation that was growing in a more industrialized world than he had. He immediately pitched to Nintendo his idea for a game that would let kids capture and share little creatures with their Game Boys, and Nintendo decided to support his endeavor. This conversation between Game Freak and Nintendo marked the birth of what we now know as Pokémon.
Unrivaled success.
Pokémon ended up taking much more time and resources to develop than originally expected.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, true. They would have been fucking loving life. They would have been fucking loving it. Patch Ketchum. When you were little, what Pokemon cards did you have? Little did he know it would be the biggest game. Yeah. It's like the biggest game in history, right? Like the biggest game franchise of all time.
Red, Green, and Blue had the most expensive development of any Game Boy game, and adjusting for inflation, they are still the most expensive games ever developed on a handheld, and the 16th most expensive games ever made. Development took 6 years, and by the time they were released in 1996, the Game Boy was in decline and nearly obsolete. But against all odds, Pokémon Red, Green, and Blue's launch turned out to be an absolute success, with sales of both the games and the Game Boy itself skyrocketing after the release.
Pokémon has captured the imagination of children around the world, and billions and billions of dollars from their parents' wallets.
He is Australian as fuck. Billions and billions. Little did you know there would soon be copious amounts of Pokemon porn. Okay, that's enough, Weedy. You watch the show collect the cards when they're hyped? That's cute.
the novelty of Pokemon's concept caught the world by storm. The social nature of the games, paired with a smart marketing campaign and some clever design details, like having 2 simultaneous versions of the games with version-exclusive Pokémon, made them spread like wildfire. Every kid that bought the game would also turn into a salesman for games.
That is actually so genius. I don't know of any other game in the world where there's like a different version of it. Maybe in Final Fantasy or something like that. I don't know. But the idea that like there is always going to be a reason to trade with other people, because you would most people, majority of the population, consumers, would buy one copy of the game, and they will want to trade Pokemon with people that have the other type of game to trade with them. But it's not the same these days, because you can basically get your hands on all of them online and stuff like that. Like, it's still nice to have it, but I feel like the idea of catching all of them it's not as relevant, if that makes sense. It's mad how big it's become. Dude, I went to the fucking Pokemon Center in Japan, and I got a bunch of plushies. Let's got them right here. I don't have the cards anymore for sure. My brother probably got my cards when I got bored, but I doubt it still has his now. Though I think, doubt it. That would have been fucking out there. That would have been gone. Even now, 25 years later, the cards are still constantly sold out. Oh yeah, dude. There's a limit to how many you can buy. You can't even buy that many anymore. Never been into Pokemon. I know literally nothing about it. Exo's knowledge is based off of what I say.
Game Freak, trying to convince their friends to buy the game in a collective effort to catch them all. Something impossible by yourself. This concept alone organically made a community grow around Pokemon, with the entire world working together to uncover its mysteries, becoming obsessed and completely fascinated with Tajiri's adventure.
Pokemon is now in full mania. Here's ABC's Tom Foreman.
Fan-favorite Pokemon
Look how
Pikachu
chubby
became the
he
franchise
is.
mascot, and as this cute electric mouse became a worldwide icon, Nintendo and Game Freak began to capitalize heavily on the game's success. The Pokemon Company was created in 1998 to manage the franchise, being equally shared by Nintendo, Game Freak, and Creatures Inc. And with a clear guideline, the three began rapidly expanding the franchise.
With Facebook pages giving out Pokemon, catching them all too easy. Facebook pages? What? I haven't heard of that. How do you get Pikachu on a bus? Poke him on. Oh my god. Okay, dude. Yeah, get your son onto it. Chunky Chew. It's funny because I think it's the latest box. I think you can get it in the one that I bought, but there's like a V Max, and it's in the Sword and Shield game too, where like the ultimate version of Pikachu at his like full capacity is like this massive chubby Pikachu. It's so cute.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was.
Pokemon received an anime adaptation
Patchyboi at 6:30 in the morning before school. This was the highlight of my day.
that would also be accompanied by movies, a trading card game, and an insane amount of merchandise. A revision of the original games, retouched to be more similar to the anime, was launched in 1998 with Pokemon Yellow, with an interactive Pikachu as its primary feature.
It's Pokemon Yellow, the special Pikachu edition for Game Boy Color, where it's you and Pikachu catching as many as you can.
A year later, in 1999, Pokemon Gold and Silver were launched as the second generation of Pokemon. They included the new region of Johto, as well as the original region of Kanto, 100 new Pokemon, and drastically improved on the original games.
Lugia.
The second generation vastly improved the balance of the battle system
Who
from
gave
the
a
originals.
fuck about her,
And
man?
being Game Boy Color exclusives, they were able to feature much better graphics and an internal clock that allowed for a weekly and day-night cycle inside of the game's world.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it's so simple. But the day and night cycle, like actually, because like back then you couldn't even like fuck up the times that much, could you? No, you probably could change them actually, but as a kid you wouldn't think of it. So you actually, as a dumb kid, I would actually have to wait until nighttime to try and like get Ghastly and shit like that. I think it's Ghastly, I don't know, but that was pretty cool. There's loads on Pokemon pages of Facebook, and they just do giveaways and hand out Master Balls and everything. I didn't know that. I've never heard of that. Hand down the best games, Gold, Silver, Crystal. I don't think I ever played Crystal. I think I never played Crystal. Is that like Gold and Silver? Is that like the yellow version? You know how yellow is like the expanded one of Red and Blue? Is Crystal the expansion of Gold and Silver? I feel so dumb for saying that. I feel so dumb.
The new Pokemon and region were also
I'm almost
integrated
embarrassed
into
saying
the
that.
anime, card game, and merchandise, and started a cycle that would prove as extremely lucrative for the Pokemon Company.
Warner Brothers Pictures presents Pokemon 3. Discover the secrets of the spell of the unknown.
From that point on,
Dude, the
every
first two
couple of
movies were
years, a new
amazing.
generation of Pokemon was released,
Amazing.
serving as the main pillar to then expand the rest of the franchise branches. Pokemon quickly became Nintendo's staple handheld franchise, with every new generation becoming an instant hit and pushing sales of every new Nintendo handheld console to astonishing numbers.
Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon Pearl. Gotta catch 'em all.
Oh my god, those. I think I have, like, I talk about Pokemon Silver being the first one that I played because I got my Game Boy with Silver and Blue, but I like Silver better because it was the more up to date and had coloring and shit like that, right? But my fondest memories are definitely Pokemon Diamond and Pearl because of like how open and expansive the world really was in comparison to those ones, and like how much end game content there was with like all the Reggies and the fucking like Heatran, Darkrai, Celebi, all that kind of shit. Fucking loved it, man. Loved it. Has Suicune as a Pokemon in the game? Yeah, I assume that. I just wanted to know if it was like Diamond, Pearl. You know how there's red, blue, and then the expansion is like yellow, and then like with Diamond and Pearl, the expansion is the one with Giratina.
Only for Nintendo DS, rated E for everyone.
People simply couldn't get enough Pokemon, and the franchise couldn't be stopped from growing exponentially. Eventually, this astronomical growth led to Pokemon becoming the highest-grossing multimedia franchise in the entire world, vastly surpassing industry giants like Mickey Mouse or Star Wars, a title that Pokemon still holds to this day. Pokemon video games were the foundation of this immense success, with what once was the dream of a video game developer that hoped to recapture his childhood memories, becoming the second best-selling video game franchise of all time.
Let's be real, man. The Game Boys and DSs and Switches, they are literally just Pokemon machines. That's all they are. Everything else that you play on those consoles is fucking side mission shit. I miss playing Go. Yeah, me too. I don't even leave the house. I
Surpassed
only play Pokemon? Yeah.
by Mario.
Hello!
But of course, every success story hides a dark side, and Pokemon was no exception.
What? Maybe Zelda or Mario Kart? I never played Zelda. Never did.
Die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Pokemon games quickly developed a clear formula that was extremely effective. In the world of Pokemon, the day of your 10th birthday, you become ready to leave home and go on your own adventure. You start by choosing your first Pokemon between the three basic rock, paper, scissors types: fire, water, and grass. From that point on, your objective is clear: become Pokemon Champion. In order to accomplish that goal, you must defeat 8 gym leaders, obtaining their 8 respective badges, and then go on to challenge the Elite Four.
But you also have to defeat the underworld fucking empires like Team Rocket, and then what's the one in Ruby and Sapphire? like the fire team and water team or whatever. I mean, Super Mario Bros. And Zelda franchises are big too. I know they're huge, right? But it's like, I know they make a lot of sales, and I think they make a lot of sales, more specifically, Mario make more sales off of children and like parents buying it for children to play and whatnot. I couldn't say that Mario Brothers has a diehard fan base to the same extent as Pokemon. Zelda, I know people go nuts for. I have nothing real to say about it because I've never really given it a good shot. It is a big one. I know Breath of the Wild like really popped off. Magma and Aqua, yeah. But as he said in the video just there, like the Pokemon games like boost sales of their consoles by like astronomical amounts.
The Pokemon professor that hands you
To me, it's a Pokemon machine.
your starter also gives you a Pokédex, a sort of Pokemon encyclopedia that you must help complete by catching as many Pokemon as you can. You usually have a rival that starts his or her adventure along yours and progresses at the same rate as you do, acting as a check-in for your own progress through a familiar face.
But you know what's really good about the rival is that they always choose the Pokemon that is going to be super effective against yours. So if you choose a fire type, he'll choose a water. If you choose a water, he'll choose grass. Right? So there was always this like one character that was like a hurdle to get over because he had like a really powerful Pokemon that actually counters what you have. And an experienced Pokemon player would know better to like have a Pokemon to counter his one that beats your trump card. But as a kid and like growing up and stuff, your starter one is a special one, and he's usually the most leveled one because you had him for longer and there's no XP share. But in the newer games, there is XP share, and I think Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield, I'm pretty sure that it's the opposite. Where if you choose a fire type, he'll choose grass. If you choose a water type, he'll choose fire. You are super effective against him. And I think that's where this video might head, is that it's like turn from the difficulty like kind of scaling with you to you just overpowering everything.
Along the way, you will also dismantle the plans of some bad guys that want to do some bad thing.
Yeah, very important.
Either because of their evilness or because of their stupidity. Oh, and sometimes you are also some kind of chosen one that must either help or defeat some legendary Pokemon to stop the end of the world, which may or may not be related to the bad guy's plan. Gameplay-wise, you can fight and catch Pokemon in the wild by debilitating them and then throwing a Pokeball. Pokemon can only learn 4 moves at a time, needing to forget old moves in order to learn the new ones. You can also only carry a maximum of 6 Pokemon at a time, and the rest can be stored at a PC in the Pokemon Center. You can then use these Pokemon to battle other trainers, which lets them gain experience and level up, sometimes evolving into a stronger form.
I mean, Let's Go, you only need a Pikachu to complete the whole game. I saw Pokemon Let's Go, and I was like, nah, I'm not even fucking doing it. It came out super early when the Switch was released. I'm like, dude, this is 100%, like, this is cool, but there's not even, like, any proper battling or anything like that. Catching it is really weird. This is obviously, like, a test run for the next installment that actually brings in more Pokemon and shit like that. I never played it because I thought, yep, this is just a test run. This is just a test run. Definitely a filler, but I was just like, I'm not buying a Switch right now to play that game that I will not get like the actual Pokemon experience with. It's fun for a little bit, but go boring. Yeah, I feel like it would have been. It was like peak time for people to collect shinies. I've heard it was the shiny phase. always
All of
made you
these
so
elements
happy
have
when
stayed the same
your starter
generation
evolves.
after generation for 24 years. No other franchise has lived so long and changed so little. But this is just a side effect of the immense success Pokémon was from the get-go. The core structure of Pokémon was so effective that it became extremely scary to alter it in any significant way. But as they kept releasing games using the same formula, the Pokémon company realized they didn't really need to change it. They had struck gold so hard with that original structure that as long as they were dressed up differently, the new games would still sell like hotcakes. This meant that between generations,
Pretty much.
the improvements could basically be reduced to better graphics and a few new mechanics that weren't too intrusive.
A new Pokemon and like some special ability thing, like Z moves or whatever the fuck it was. Who uses Leah? Tryhards. Tryhards.
Along with the new set of Pokemon and the new region. In the
I really
first few
enjoyed the Hawaiian
generations, some of the new mechanics that were introduced actually stuck around for future releases, like breeding, double battles, or weather conditions. But most of these new mechanics were actually dropped from the next generations in an effort to keep the games as simple as possible. This practice left mechanics like tree planting, base building, flying through the overworld, mega evolving, or having your Pokemon follow you as one-off, half-baked ideas that were never built upon. The idea was to artificially slow down the progress between games, with the intention of releasing them yearly without having to account for too many new mechanics. This practice was incentivized by the fact that Pokémon is a multimedia franchise that is built up starting from the mainline video game releases. It was in the best interest of the Pokémon company to streamline the development of said video games as much as possible, since all the other branches of the franchise needed from the games was the new Pokémon, characters, and region.
Give up? No way!
Pokemon, the movie, White, Victini, and Zekrom.
It wasn't relevant to the anime, trading card game, or merchandise whether or not the games were improving their battle system or the quality of their puzzles, as long as new Pokemon were appearing in them. This dependency, along with the fact that the games were selling very well anyways, allowed the Pokemon company to reduce risk-taking and development cost of the video games to a minimum and annualize their release.
It's very cute. Base building would be a cool feature in the new open world one. It would be cool. I feel like the new open world one will be like Let's Go Pikachu. As cool as the idea sounds, I feel like it's not going to be fantastic. I feel like it's not going to be fantastic. But I feel like it'll be built upon in the next installment, in the next generation of Pokemon. I reckon it'll be, have some faith. I want to have some faith. I want it to be amazing. I want it to blow my mind. I do. This is what I've been wanting for years. I know, man. How do I feel about that? I like it when the Pokemon follow you around. I feel like that makes it feel more realistic, like more alive. As for the base building and stuff like that, could be cool if you could have other people come in and check it out, but even then that only goes so far, I feel. I remember doing the base building thing in Emerald, I think, and I built a base and then I just didn't do anything in there. I didn't do anything with it. You make it look cool, but there's no one to see it or anything like that. Maybe I just missed out on that. I was just an idiot, and that was an option. I don't know. Oddish is the best Pokemon. It is. It's cute. It's juicy, just like Weedy. Yeah, agreed. The follow is good. Also, like the Let's Go riding the Pokemon. Oh yeah, true. You could do that, couldn't you? That was cool. Yeah, that was really cool.
The streamlining of the development process meant that hard dates could be set for the game's releases, allowing the Pokémon Company to plan tournaments, movies, or spin-offs ahead of time, making the release of each new generation into a multimedia event.
That's really smart.
The gears of the Pokémon franchise were turning faster than ever, and the economical success of their approach was unquestionable. However, the game slowly started to suffer from the weight of the never-ending money-making machine that was resting on their shoulders. All this streamlining and time constraints steadily drained the soul out of the franchise, with every new generation being less inspired and ambitious than the previous one. Pokémon became stuck in an eternal Groundhog Day. The developers created the same game over and over, and the players, just like Ash and Pikachu, were forever stuck at 10 years old, always trying to become Pokémon champions, but never evolving or taking the next step forward. But Groundhog Day can't last forever.
But is that a bad thing? See, my personal thing is that the games got too easy. It's the challenge and the feeling of progression in the game that I feel like was needed. You know? Groundhog Day, though. I feel like the new game that they're having coming up is probably the next step, because they had the Wilds and Sword and Shield, where it's like open field and they're running around, you walk up to them, you catch them and stuff like that, and that's really cool. And then this next one with Arceus, Pokemon Arceus, Legend of Arceus or whatever, that's going to be like super open world, right? And I don't know how that's going to go. I feel like it's going to maybe get like 70% of the way there. It's going to get 70% of the way there. But then they'll take the Wilds areas from Sword and Shield. They'll take the open world area from that they're kind of like, I feel like they're more using as a testing ground. They're going to merge those bastards together, and the next generation of Pokemon, that game is going to be absolutely fucking phenomenal, where the entire world is like open, wilds and stuff like that, and more like MMO like. I feel like it'll be fucking amazing. It's just we gotta wait for it. I'm curious as to what he has to say. Been 10 to 25 years, maybe he's in a coma and dreaming, that's why he's not gotten older. Have you seen the theories on Ash? In the first episode, he gets electrocuted by Pikachu, and he's actually in a coma. That's probably what you're referencing. The theory that he's actually in a coma and he dreams the entire Pokemon series in his head. 2 years and we will have the game we all want? Yeah. I think so. I think Pokemon is going to be taking the next steps from what they have done and what we are seeing coming up. I reckon.
One day, you'll end up waking up and coming back to the real world.
A slap of reality.
Oh my darling, are you having another nightmare?
Players have always wanted more from Pokemon. The mainline games sold well
so
among
chubby.
new generations of kids for whom Pokemon was as good as new, and for older people that, like Tajiri making the original games, wanted to relive a part of their childhood through Pokemon. But outside of nostalgia, it was clear for most people that Pokemon was punching under its weight, especially considering the amount of money it generated. As soon as we got a taste of what Pokemon could look like on a home console, with spin-offs like Pokemon Stadium and Snap, our minds were running wild with possibilities. The franchise had potential like few others to blow us out of the water with a fully fledged home console RPG, but the Pokémon Company had other plans. They preferred to spend their money on other aspects of the franchise, plus Nintendo wanted to keep Pokémon as their main handheld console seller. This meant that all we would ever get for our Nintendo 64s and GameCubes would be Pokémon spin-offs, while mainline releases were bound to be limited by Nintendo handheld hardware.
Pokémon Sun and Pokémon Moon.
But that's what they were doing, right? They didn't make any more consoles. It was all... Oh, wait, no, they did! On the Wii. They did the Wii and the DS. I take that back. I completely forgot that the Wii U. I completely forgot that those even existed.
After the release of Pokémon Colosseum and XD, two often overlooked hidden gems on the GameCube, these spin-offs would never again include traditional Pokémon gameplay, due to a fear that they could overshadow the mainline releases. Following this decision, we were left only to dream about the possibilities of a home console Pokémon RPG, or an MMO if you wanted to dream big. Some people even tried to make their own Pokémon games, with real-time battles among other ideas, spawning an insane amount of Pokémon bootlegs, which were quickly shut down by Nintendo's copyright policies. For years, it seemed like our Pokémon dreams would never be fulfilled.
I feel you, Pikachu.
But then, something very unexpected happened.
Rookie.
Following the failure of the Wii U, Nintendo decided to turn things around with the
I'm a fake. I'm a phony.
announcement of the Nintendo Switch, a handheld home console hybrid that effectively unified both divisions of the company. The Switch was seen inside of Nintendo as the perfect platform to revitalize its main franchises, not that the whole company was focused on this one console. Their first game to release was The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild,
It was huge.
which took the franchise back to its free-roaming adventure roots, with an immense and ambitious open world that set a new mark for what was possible for this kind of game. Then came the turn for Super
What? Someone actually modded Ark so you tame Pokemon instead of dinosaurs? What the fuck? I gotta look at that. That's so good. The Switch is a great console, but it needs to get more games on it. I reckon these Mario games look sick. The Legend of Zelda one, Breath of the Wild, looks sick. I don't know about any other game. I guess there's Smash Bros. I haven't played much of that. Mystery Dungeon Pokemon. I really like that. I know it's not something that a lot of people like, but I really like that. I'd be kind of curious to try the new Mario games though. Like, they do look pretty cool. They do look like a bit of fun.
Mario Odyssey.
It looks
another gigantic
looks fun.
effort to bring back the spirit from Mario 64 and breathe new life and much needed innovation into the 3D platforming genre. As both of these games were getting rave reviews and being critically acclaimed by the entire gaming industry, eyes started to turn to the next biggest Nintendo franchise, Pokémon. People started to think that at last, now that Pokémon would be forced to release on a home console, we would finally be getting the game that we had all dreamed of but had been kept away from us.
I'll be honest, when I saw the trailer for this movie, it's just like an animated version of the Mewtwo movie. I'm actually been scared to watch it because I feel like I would be grossed out by it for some reason. Like, it's like they've tarnished my childhood in this movie, and I haven't even seen it. It could be alright, but for some reason it's like I'm holding onto my nostalgia as much as I can. Did get The Witcher on there, but definitely need to get more games like it on there. Oh, fucking... Does that really count to put The Witcher on there? Like, fucking 10 years after it was released? Yeah. The AG is better. I don't even want to compare them. I think most people would agree with that. I feel like this movie was specifically made for children of this generation. So that's fine.
At last we would get a game where Pokémon could truly shine, with a developed combat system and animations where these creatures that we've known for so many years could finally feel truly alive. But the reality was very different. The Pokemon Company had written themselves into a corner that was nearly impossible to get out of. The gears of the Pokemon franchise were spinning too fast to manage, and Game Freak was poorly prepared to make the jump to the Switch. Finding themselves between a rock and a hard place, Game Freak did what they could. While most AAA home console titles take many years and teams of hundreds, if not thousands of people to develop,
they pumped out Pokemon Let's Go. I'm waiting for it. They pumped out Pokemon Let's Go.
Game Freak had a very different situation. With a team of around 150 people and the development time of a 3DS game, they had to get used to the Switch hardware and develop the Pokemon game of our dreams in an environment that had grown complacent and unambitious over the years. Needless to say that the resulting product was an absolute mess.
Welcome to Nintendo Treehouse Live 2019. My name is Teresa, and we're here to kick off to the first view of the live gameplay of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield.
Following the reveal at E3 2019, it became clear that the games were in an extremely unpolished state. Game Freak had to immediately come out and do damage control, justifying the absence of many Pokemon and a national dex to the extra effort that had been put into remaking the battle animations for the new games. This excuse quickly proved to be a blatant lie, with obvious evidence that the new games were reusing the models and animations from the previous generation. Although the games were clearly not ready, the Pokemon machine must keep marching forward, so Pokemon Sword and Shield were released in November 2019.
I did not see him going for that one. It didn't make me cry, so not as good. That pissed me off. I didn't mind that it didn't have all the Pokemon in it. I was like the one of the in a trillion where I was like, I didn't mind. Why did Pokemon Sword and Shield only have like 200 Pokemon? I didn't mind for some reason. It had the new generation. From my perspective, I wasn't butthurt over having Pokemon from previous generations in Sword and Shield right off the bat. Specifically because I've been playing this game for fucking my entire life. And in every single game, I beat the game. I get all the legendaries first after the game, you know. Then I go and I collect all the Pokemon I missed and I fill out the Pokedex. And that's me kind of done. I don't really go shiny hunting. It's kind of overkill for me. It's not as fun running around in circles for fucking 14 hours straight. It's just not... It's not fun. It doesn't feel that rewarding or anything like that. I never got into the PvP kind of side of it. Just didn't really bother with it. But after doing it for so long and like playing games with their generations and stuff like that, I don't go into a new Pokemon game and I'm like, this person, it's like, it's got to have the first 150 or it's a piece of shit Pokemon game. Or anything like that. Or even like just all the previous... I play a new Pokemon game to have the same experience of like going into it and having 150 to 200 new Pokemon that I have never seen before. And having that wow factor for me. I want to go in there. I want to walk into the grass and run into some weird fucking orange and purple elephant cunt of a thing pop up in front of me and be like, what in the fuck is that? And then get rolled by it because I can't tell what type it is until it's too late. And then like I go and catch it and then I invest time into it and evolve it and watch this thing just magically transform into something else. I like the feeling of like the unknown and the adventure in it. And then like when going into these games and they don't put in the old ones, like I already know what they're gonna be. It's not as adventurous for me there. Like, yeah, they're doing my favorite Pokemon and stuff like that. But like at first I'm like, you know. But they did say with this game that they would do updates and do DLCs for it. And they did. And they brought a lot of Pokemon into it. And I feel pretty content with the way Sword and Shield went. I felt like it was fucking solid. The animations at the start that they advertised were dog shit, but they changed them. I think they were... believe I think I was more upset that Sandshrew was missing. Yeah, well, you got your favorite Pokemon. I think it's just, as I said, it's like the new experience, you know? The new adventure. Elephant.
Things turned out to be even worse than expected. The new gimmick of Dynamaxing wasn't able to cover up for the fact that battles were still the same as 24 years ago, and the animations were lazy and unfinished. Game Freak had clearly cut every corner possible in order to get the game done on time. The level design was so uninspired that it could as well have been procedurally generated, and the game was dumbed down and streamlined to the point of annoyance. Cutscenes were half-baked, and the new wild...
Okay, that bit there. This little bit here. This, yeah.
...lined to the point of annoyance.
This bit here.
Cutscenes were half-baked, and the new wild area suffered from severe lag and pop-in, making the game feel extremely cheap and unpolished. As shown in my previous video, Sword and Shield were in many ways worse than the 16-year-old spin-offs of Colosseum and XD, as a result of the lack of ambition the Pokémon Company had been carrying ever since. Finally, the complacency of the Pokémon Company had caught up to them, and as the rug was being pulled from under their feet, the Pokémon game we had all dreamed about was nowhere to be found. Instead, we got the product of what Pokémon had already become, but we were naively refusing to accept. A soulless, uninspired franchise that is more concerned with making maximum profit than with making the best games they possibly can.
To be fair, I don't think the game developers intentionally do those things that he's describing. I think obviously, like, the board of directors, the stakeholders in the company, they're pushing for it. They want a new game. Just get it the fuck out there. Give us the money. I think the game devs literally they have a deep passion for it, and they want to create a magical world for millions of people to enjoy. I don't think they're evil, fucking greedy people. I think they have higher entities pushing down upon them to shit something out right now. Right fucking now. I didn't even hear about people not liking Sword and Shield. I heard people complaining about the lack of Pokemon. They didn't have all, like, 1,000 Pokemon in it at the start, and some of the animations being lackluster, such as the dog Pokemon turning around weirdly, and some Pokemon moves that are like, and then it'll have, like, a footprint there. I can't remember. I don't even, like, recall that being something that I even remember. It was just so nothing to me. I don't know if I'm being a snob or something like that, but back in the day when there were no animations for most abilities, it would maybe be like a ball go from one side of the screen to the other. Playing Sword and Shield and having maybe a more basic animation didn't throw me off at all. I heard a lot of complaints, but didn't stop people playing. I feel like all Pokemon games will always be played. Yeah, I think they definitely hold a monopoly on the entire industry. The only competition was Temtem on Steam, and I don't think they've even released the full game yet. You know, nothing can compete with it. It's just, it's like McDonald's. Kinda. Anyway. Pokemon Go's good.
Hey, Flaps. What we gonna do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
The thing is that, in spite of the backlash, Pokemon Sword and Shield have sold just as good, if not better, than the previous generations.
Yeah, it's really good.
Becoming one of the Switch best-selling titles. The game's state and the controversy surrounding them didn't affect sales in any significant way, which means that the Pokemon Company may have not learned anything from this experience. The Pokemon formula is still as strong as ever, and it seems like the old trends of the franchise might be able to keep going on the Switch and maintain their past success. Many people that hadn't played Pokemon for years decided to jump back in with Sword and Shield, and while many have been disappointed by the lack of evolution, others are content with reliving their childhood with Pokemon and want nothing else from the games. This means that it's entirely up to the Pokemon Company what to do next with the franchise. If they decide to keep going down this route of remaking the same game over and over, they'll probably be able to milk their formula for a few more years.
But with the transition to the Nintendo Switch hardware, with its, it being much more powerful, allowing us to be much more expressive with each of the individual Pokemon.
However, if Pokemon truly wants to live up to its potential, it needs to take some risks and add some substantial changes to the games going forward. Pokemon needs to take some cues from other Nintendo franchises, like Mario or Zelda, that despite being made for all ages, actually challenge the player instead of treating him or her like a dumb child.
Yeah, okay, so it's definitely hard to balance, right? I mean, this video came out like 5-6 months ago, so it wasn't aware of the Pokemon Arceus that's been announced, right? But they are definitely going in that direction, but they have this really hard wall to get past that is like, they need to create a game that does hold challenge, but it also needs to be playable by children. You know what I mean? I feel like there needs to be an element of it that does challenge the older demographic, but yeah, it's like you can't appease everyone, and at the end of the day, it is meant to be for children. I'm not gonna get butthurt over the idea of that. That's the reality. I am childish. Pokemon Go is a good game if you have the places to play it. If you live in buttfuck nowhere, it's shit. Yeah, true. There's a big true. In cities, it's great. As someone who went to uni a few times a week, it was good. It was really good. I would go out of my way and walk to places because I know people would go to the raids and would smash out like 6 Rayquazas. It was so good. There were even times when me and Weedy went to the city with our friends to play Pokemon Go. I think we're doing something else at the time, like getting dinner and stuff like that, maybe. I can't really remember, but I remember us actually just playing Pokemon Go, and it was actually kind of fun. It was kind of fun, like all 5 or 6 of us doing it together. The main thing I feel is XP share should be able to be turned off. I think, no, but the quality of life, it's like you're not going to go into Pokemon and you're going to turn off XP share to make it harder on yourself. Why would you? You need to just get it out. You need to delete it. Get rid of XP share. At best, XP share in the early stages was like an item held by one Pokemon in your party, and only that one Pokemon would get like 50% of the experience as the Pokemon that actually battled and defeated the enemy. When I was a kid, we played all games and they were all really hard. Yeah, but the Pokemon games back in the day were hard. Now they're easy as we have gotten older and better. That's the biggest thing I didn't enjoy about Sword and Shield was leveling too easy. I used to play it all the time. Dude, Sword and Shield, I played it all on stream. The hardest aspect of Sword and Shield was fighting the old man in the DLC. It was like the last boss. He had like super strong Pokemon. That was good. I got my ass kicked, but I liked it. But the hardest aspect of Pokemon Sword and Shield was trying to capture Pokemon without killing them. I would have to go and use Pokemon around the same level as the wild Pokemon that I was fighting, and use moves that were not very effective, just in hopes of not fucking one-shotting him. It was so hard, because it was so easy to kill everything. They were like glass. I would kill everything. I didn't have false swipe. I knew I should have just gotten that, but fuck, man. The meme man, what's going on, man? How you doing? Everything was always too high leveled. Yeah. Your entire team would just stomp it. Nothing could stop you.
If real-time battles are too big of a task, turn-based combat has evolved in many ways that could be implemented into Pokémon, instead of sticking to the same basic and boring system that was already outdated by the first generation. A real Zelda-like open world could be implemented into the games, rather than being restrained to one small area, with real, correctly sized Pokémon running around in their respective environments. Actually challenging puzzles that use the abilities of Pokémon could be introduced into the games, instead of the brain-numbing gym challenges that we are currently getting.
The old games used to have it. This shit was a load of crap.
These and many more ideas.
I understand it being fun for kids. I totally get it. Totally understand their thought pattern on it and making it fun for kids. I totally get it. 100% get it. 100% get it. And they're appealing to that audience, and it's fine. For me, I wanted it to be harder. With expansions, my Pokemon are already 100. Yeah, so you could just like one-shot everything. I didn't like grind my Pokemon to 100. I stayed around 60, and the DLC was fun. Hey, Roasted Chicken, what's going on, man? Welcome. They just need adult mode. They should make a Pokemon game that has the same like tile system where you use tiles to move around, and instead of making it like some sort of like new Sword and Shield with amazing graphics and stuff like that, take it down a notch, but make the world fucking huge. Make it like 5 times the size of Diamond and Pearl with reduced graphics, more content, harder, make it difficult, Make it so you need to prioritize your money and use potions and revives and shit like that scarcely to get through it. And if you like can't get through an area, make the level jumps large so you have to grind Pokemon and actually go out and train your Pokemon, not just go and fight the next person, then the next person, the next person. It's like, okay, I'm not good enough to fight the gym leader. I actually need to go out with my Pokemon and train with him and become better to beat him. Not just walk from A town to B town with like 2 trainers in the middle and then fight the gym. Train. You know what I mean? He is a real man who watch game-themed vids. Hell yeah, man. I opened a live stream and waited for 20 minutes and no one come to my stream. That sucks, man. It's a bit of a grind. Keep at it. Just keep pushing.
This could be implemented into the games to get them closer to fulfilling the potential the franchise has always shown but never lived up to. However, implementing changes and improving the games needs time and resources, which is a risk that the Pokémon Company might not be willing to take. Let's take Assassin's Creed for example. Despite it being much better prepared to be an annual franchise, with many distinct and huge development teams inside of Ubisoft working on the games, time eventually caught up to them. After a couple of rough launches, they had to make the hard decision to stop the annual releases and turn into a bi-yearly franchise. Game Freak would
100% with Assassin's Creed. 100%. Hey, no.
Have to make a similar decision, vastly expanding their studios in order to make various big budget games at once, and probably having to stop releasing games for a few years. However, many more things depend on Pokemon games than on Assassin's Creed, so Game Freak may not be in the position to make that sacrifice. Only time will tell if the Pokemon Company makes the correct decision. For now, we can only wait and hope that things will somehow change for the better. Hopefully, the new DLCs for Sword and Shield that will release this year are a first step in the right direction. Personally, I've been let down so many times that I'm not willing to bet on the Pokemon Company making the hard decisions they need to make.
No, okay. I'll let him finish it.
However, there'll always be inside of me a part of the child that used to dream of what Pokemon could one day become while he played with his Game Boy. And that child is not willing to give up his hopes of Pokemon one day finally fulfilling his dreams.
Okay, so this obviously came out before the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I played both of them. The Fighting Island thing was a cool storyline, but it was really short, and I didn't really feel the need to go out and collect the other Pokemon. I feel like it was good for like filling in the Pokedex more and people wanting to do shiny hunting and stuff like that. Cool beans. The Tundra. Tundra is really cool. I like the storyline to it, but catching the legendaries is actually really fucking tough. That aspect, I absolutely love it. Absolutely fucking love it. I still haven't captured the other two. So yeah, there's that. But I think, in all honesty, Pokemon will have their Pokemon Legend of Arceus come out. That'll be like an okay game, and I feel like the one after will be like pioneering the next like kind of major phase of the Pokemon universe. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Watch the video.